Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Here's me looking all cute and glowy, and if you are interested in this look, please keep watching. I'm gonna transform myself from drab to fab. If my face looks red, it's because I've been pretty much doing squats, trying to set up this camera, and then my remote ran out of battery, so I was running up and down the stairs. So I'm a little sweaty because it's 25 degrees right now, and it's sun's coming through the window, and good morning, good afternoon, and good night. My humble people of the internet, and welcome back to my channel, to my living room in front of the window on this beautiful day. So here's my bag of makeup, my full face of high-end products. I will try to link it below if anything. Some of these products are discontinued, like the Hourglass Ambient Ghost Palette, but you can actually just find the same colors in their permanent line. So we're gonna start off by clipping up this hair that I never want to deal with. And if you saw my armpit hair, please ignore it. I didn't wax yesterday. So we're just gonna leave that at that. So despite the fact that I actually prefer drugstore primers to high-end primers, I actually do have one high-end primer that I do like. It is the Hourglass Veil Primer. I do have more oily skin, which is why I prefer this. It's mattifying and it makes your makeup last a long time. But I only have a small sample size. This is like my third small sample size. I get these off of Sephora whenever they get their little not so great little perks, but one little one lasts me a long time, and you know, I don't really feel the need to purchase the larger size because in the drugstore, if you know, the NYX Angel Veil is actually a perfect dupe of the texture and the wear of this primer. So I'm just gonna take the spatula into my hand, and we're gonna start off by dotting it all over my face. So I've already prepped my skin, which is why it looks kind of oily. Have like moisturizer on and whatnot. Okay, so that's my skin prepped and ready to go. And the foundation that I'm gonna use today is the Shiseido Synchro Skin. This is my holy grail foundation. Every time I wear this, I'm shook. And we're gonna shake it. And again, we're gonna put it on the little area of our thumb here. Just gonna dot this around my face. I use the shade Sand, right? Yeah, I use the shade Sand. If any of you are curious, online they describe sand as a light to medium complexion with a golden undertone. I agree that I have a golden undertone, but I think my skin is more light than light medium. So, or at least, you know, to American standards. And I'm just gonna take my beauty blender and I'm gonna blend this out. This is so amazing for every day. It's not cakey, and the foundation claims that it will move with your skin as well as synchronize to the oil, to the environment, and whatever next level technology their marketing is claiming that it does. But of course I don't fall for marketing, but you know, just judging from the reviews that this got, a lot of people said it was a beautiful, lightweight, light to medium coverage foundation, and I completely agree. Just gonna take a little bit up on my brow bone. Okay, and just a little bit left. I still have my little sleep wrinkles because I did just wake up. Okay, I think that's blended enough. So for my concealer today, I actually don't have the full size, but I plan to get the full size because this concealer is so good. It doesn't crease, and the shade match is next to amazing. This is the Dior Skin Correct Concealer. I have this in 1N. This is their deluxe sample size, which has lasted me a long time because you barely need anything like this for both of my eyes. So I usually take my concealer on my darkest areas, which is on my inner corner and right at the bottom of my triangle here. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on the corner of my mouth. It just kind of shortens the length of my mouth horizontally. Gives a more youthful appearance, you know? And we're gonna take the Beauty Blender again and blend this out. Look at that. It's instantly brighter and it doesn't look like stupid light on my skin. It's just the right amount of coverage as well. It's more of a medium, but you can definitely build it up to a high coverage if that is what you prefer. Again, just blend it on the corners of my mouth. All right, so that's the concealer done. We're gonna move on to powder, just our under eyes to start. I'm gonna take my Hourglass Diffused Light Ambient Lighting Powder. I just put this under my eyes. Sometimes if I want to go concealerless, which to be honest is most days, I would use my foundation and then I would take this, and it kind of mimics a brightening concealer finish without the coverage. So I don't know who actually wants that except me, but I like the way it looks. So we're gonna take this on a small brush here and just pat this where we want to brighten up. And I'm just gonna pop this down my nose for a gentle highlight, even though we are gonna go with highlight on the nose anyways, and a little bit on the chin, and of course the corners of my mouth. I know it looks kind of funny right now, but we're gonna add some dimension after. I do this to make my lips look a little bit smaller, more plump. I actually don't have a high-end brow product because I think they're way too expensive for how fast you go through them. So I'm just gonna do my brows off of camera and we're gonna come back and finish off the rest of the face. Okay, that's as good as they're gonna get. So we're gonna take the Benefits 24-Hour Brow Setter. This is my favorite brow gel, and we're gonna just glue these brow hairs all the way up, sky high, fluffy as they can be. I'm just gonna take my NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. This is my favorite high-end primer for oily eyelids. So I'm just gonna, ooh, a little creasy there. Just take a little bit, or maybe a lot, depends how you look at it. And I pop this kind of all over my lid. I don't use high-end brushes, so we're just gonna take the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush and we're just gonna blend this primer onto my eyes because I don't really want to use my fingers right now. So we're gonna take the Vise Art Cashmere palette with a flat, fluffy brush, and by flat I mean just slightly pinched on the sides, but mainly fluffy. And we're gonna go into this middle shade here. This is like a sandy beige color, and it's a shimmer. And we're gonna pop that all over the eyelid, just below our brow bone. So we're actually just gonna, if you can kind of see the shape, kind of bring it into a slight cat eye point. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can just keep it at your lid, but I have a big eyelid space with small eyelids, so I like to kind of bring my color up so that you can actually see it. I'm just taking a classic eyeshadow brush, and we're just gonna bring this on our lower eyelid. So we are finished with the Cashmere palette. We're actually gonna go in with a single shadow. This is my personal Ride or Die shadow. This is the Marc Jacobs Omega Shadow in Bravo. It is the perfect neutral golden. Wow, I am at a loss for words. Bronze, it's a bronze. And it looks like this. It's so pretty. It's the most perfect shade. Can we see a trend here? I really like my super duper neutrals. So we're gonna take this and layer this a little bit on our outer lower eyelid, and just slightly dragging it very, very slightly to the upper lid, or the upper outer V, just to tie in the colors a little bit. Gonna take my eyelash curler. We are almost done with the eyes. So I just really like to go overboard with curling gently and apply a lot of mascaras. Okay. Take the Milk Makeup Gel Pencil. I have this in Bonus. It is a bronzy brown. It's quite similar to the Marc Jacobs shade, it's just brown. And we're gonna use this on our upper tight line, just to give a little bit of definition to our eyes that are super blown out. And on this eye, because it's a little bit shorter, I'm just gonna kind of drag the line from my tight line just out a little bit, just to give the illusion that this one is actually a little bit longer than it really is. Before we go in with our mascara and our finishing touches with the eye look, I'm just gonna finish off my face. I'm gonna start off with the Fenty Amber Matchsticks, and we are gonna contour our face. So I'm just gonna start off with the jaw because I don't have one. I do have one, it's just a little uneven. So if you can see, here is my jaw. Here is the line that I'm contouring because I'm trying to even out the shape. So, whoop, whoop. And then we're gonna pop a little on our nose just to even out the shape. Okay, I'm just gonna take this large foundation brush, I don't know. You can use any brush or you can just use your fingers, and I'm just gonna blend it out. Really making sure that I'm not actually dragging it under my jawline because I don't want to define that because we are trying to create a new shape. So I don't really define my cheekbones with contour because I typically just rely on my bronzer to do that. Okay, so we are gonna use powder to kind of tone down the glow a little bit. And this is my favorite. This is the NARS, sorry, it's so dirty. NARS packaging, although it feels so luxe, it gets so dirty so quick, but this is the NARS Light Reflecting Setting Powder in the pressed version. I've already hit pan. For anyone who hasn't used this, it's kind of different. So when you put your brush in it, it's a pretty hard pan. So you don't think that the powder is coming up because there's no kickback, but there's actually gonna be a lot of powder on here. And we're just gonna pat this where I get oily. Then we're gonna take a big fluffy brush. I typically use this for blush and bronzer, but I'm gonna take the Marc Jacobs Accomplice powder. I've also hit pan on this. This is in Ingenue, but it's slightly deeper. Oh, that's too much. Slightly deeper than my skin tone. but we're gonna kind of use this as a cheek contour shading situation. So look at my face now, and I'm just gonna apply this. It's got a little bit of a peachy tone, but in all honesty, this is really just my light tan shade. It's like putting a transition color on your eyelids, except you put it on your cheeks before you layer your actual bronzer. Okay, and then we're gonna take the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette. This is the Ghost edition that just came out recently. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swipe down and just mix the shades. Tap it off. Then we're gonna pop this on our cheeks. I like to use an angled brush for this because I feel like I have more control of the bronzer when I do this. And the reason why I mix the two is because Dim Light has a peachy finish, so it kind of acts as a blush as well, so that I don't have to apply a blush. I'm just gonna take a little bit on our nose. I'm just gonna take this. I think they have this in their permanent collection as well. This is the Iridescent Strobe Light. Yeah, they have this. It's like a pinky highlight. It's really natural. It kind of reminds me of the Laura Mercier baked highlighting powder, but better and less chalky. So it's gonna pop that on. Okay, now that we have 1,000 glowy products on our face, we're gonna finish off the eyes. So I'm gonna actually just go in with my mascara first before I pop in my lower rim liner. This is a deluxe sample size of the Shiseido Controlled Chaos Mascara Ink. So like primers, I prefer drugstore mascaras because one, they're cheaper, and two, there's no two. It's just because they're cheaper. But this mascara is actually quite good for what it is. And the last product that we're going to use on our eyes is the Tarte Fake Awake Pencil. Okay, we're going to step back and assess the situation, and now that we're stepping back, I need to blend out this nose. And I actually do want to add some blush because I feel like we're very neutral right now. Blush. I'm just gonna go back into this one. So I'm just gonna mix these two. And the color that they mix to is a pretty standard neutral corally pink. And we're just gonna pop it on our cheeks. Just a little bit. And by a little bit, it probably looks like a lot. Okay, so the last two products that I have are for the lips, obviously, and they are more of a glossy, balmy lip. So I have the Bobbi Brown, what's this called? Extra Lip Tint. This is in Bare Raspberry, and then I have the Fenty Gloss in Hot Chocolate. So we're just gonna start by applying the balm, and I'm just gonna focus this on my inner lip, kind of like an ombre look, but not really. So we're gonna go for a more pouty appearance. This is where the concealing of the outer corners is gonna really come through. So we're just gonna pat it on the center of our lip, and then instead of going directly on the outside lip line of the bottom lip, we're just gonna go on the inside, like kind of like a V. So we're just gonna blend it out, and this looks pretty natural. Looks like a pretty natural pout. And then we're gonna layer the Fenty Hot Chocolate. It smells so good. Right on top. So I'm not gonna put it on my full lip. Just gonna follow the same outline as what I did with the balm. Okay, now we're gonna just blend it out really gently with our fingers. We're gonna bring the gloss all the way to the lip line. Okay, thank you for watching this video all the way through. I hope you enjoy. Please leave a comment if you have any comments about anything, and of course subscribe for more. Peace.